Hey everybody, welcome to Comics with Bueller. And this is the episode 153 of the brand new Coffee and Comics video.
There we go.
And as you can see, we're already having a good time. It's like 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday when we're filming this. And it's been a couple of weeks since we've been able to film the last one.
This is true.
And now we're here in the Bob Cave.
This is in the Bob Cave.
Which is really cool, which used to be my spare bedroom. Or the room I used to walk around naked in all the time.
Thanks for letting me know that again.
Yeah, and I always remind them this whole house, I was naked in the whole thing at a certain point.
My wife is hearing you say that now too, because she's right over there.
And she gets it. She
gets it.
I told her before I told you.
I know you did.
So, anyway, but you know, this is kind of a light version of the Coffee and Comics video. I actually forgot my microphone, so the audio might be a little off, but we're using the laptop and the other camera. But you know, it's nice to be here, Bob. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. You know, I was under the weather for the last couple of weeks, and I'm glad to be feeling good.
Yeah.
And you know, it's I'm still not buying comics, but I'm very excited to do this show, man. Hang out with you and.
You did read some comics.
I did read some comics.
I read one, but you read like 3 of them.
I did. I read 3.
It's like a reversal from last time.
It is big time.
So there we go. So we will have a was it good segment.
Yes.
And we'll be able to talk about some books. But we always start with the coffee we're drinking. And let's talk about the coffee we're drinking, because this is my first time being able to have this coffee. And this is the Dark Knight Roast by Comics on Coffee. We don't have a little stand, so I'm just going to have to show it to you right there. But you got some bags of this.
Yes.
And you really like it.
I do. I really like it a lot.
And apparently this bag is for me.
That is yours. So
thank you very much. I finally get my own bag of this coffee. I still haven't received anything yet because you guys know I've been on the road and everything.
Yeah.
And there was a tornado or a hurricane. Right where they live, where they produce this stuff and everything. So that's pretty cool. And as you can see on the back, it's got the cartoon from the first appearance of Batman or something like that. But look how cool that is.
It's amazing.
And you guys can go to our website, Comics on Coffee. And with the regular coffee, you can enter the code Bueller, you get 15% off. On this stuff, it's already marked down, so the code doesn't work. But they just announced, or they're for sale right now, the 2 other ones, the Joker one, and the Scarecrow one.
Scarecrow, I can't wait to get the Scarecrow one.
Yeah, and those are pretty, and they're just starting. You know, we can't really tell you much more than that. But they have a relationship with DC, obviously. Yeah. DC has a lot of characters, so your imagination can run wild. You like this coffee, right?
I do. I really do. I like a darker roast.
Yeah.
And this is really pleasant. It's got a nice mouthfeel. It's not too heavy. It's not acidic.
Yeah.
And besides Outbreak, this is my next favorite one for sure.
I like the way that's got a great mouthfeel.
It does. It is a nice mouthfeel too.
Good mouthfeel is important.
It is. It is important.
It is important.
Yep.
Go ahead,
it's really good.
Have a sip.
Thank you. I'm going to go for some mouthfeel.
Yeah. Fill that whole mouth. How's that feel?
But seriously, the Dark Knight Roast is really, really good. I'd highly recommend it. That's one of the things about Comics on Coffee that, you know, when we first started hearing about these guys, you know, I thought, okay, this is going to be a gimmick, right?
Yeah.
But the owner, love her to death, they know their coffee.
Oh, yeah.
And they handpick, you know, these different roasts, and this is really good coffee, guys.
And we're from Portland. We know our coffee, too.
We're coffee snobs.
Anyway, very nice. Thank you so much. Guys, go check out their website. Support them. You know, get some really cool coffee. Not just this brand. They got a bunch of other ones to choose from. Outbreak, Lightspeed are some of my favorites. The code works on that, so you save 15% on those. But like I said, these are already marked down a few dollars from the regular price of the other ones, so they're already kind of on sale. But yeah, I'm happy to have this, and they'll be coming out with the K-Cups as well for these eventually. So they have K-Cups for other ones, and eventually they'll have K-Cups for the DC theme ones as well. So anyway, check them out. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do a quick rundown of what we're going to talk about today real fast. We got our we have some what the hell? we have some
announcements.
Okay, here we have some announcements and some thank yous, and we're going to do our first 5 brought to you by Bird City Comics. We have our topic today. Our topic is kind of a, it's not really a Q&A, it's a multiple topic. So it's not like all the questions we do on the Q&A. It's like 8 or 9 different topics that we can kind of fit into one show. They probably couldn't do a whole show about them,
Right.
but it's all it's all about comics. You know, it's pretty much all information you'd want to know about collecting comics or what's going on in the comic book industry. And it's a really good one. So we'll hit on those and spend some time on those. And maybe down the line we might expand some of those to maybe a full show or something like that. But we're going to hit on those. Like I said, different from our Q&A because our Q&A is kind of rapid fire. Just a bunch of questions. So then we'll do our final 5, Bird City Comics as well. We'll have our Was It Good segment where we talk about the books we read. That's brought to you by the Comics on Coffee. And we'll do some random thoughts. We'll just kind of chit-chat about what's been going on, what we've been doing at the end. Like I said, kind of a light episode of the Coffee and Comics, but always a fun episode.
Always.
Right? So let's go ahead and start with our announcements real fast. And I want to tell you guys, this Friday night, I'm doing an auction on the YouTube channel. I'm hosting an auction for Dynamite, like I did before, before I went on my trip. I got a little bit of a window where I could do it again. I've talked to Nick from Dynamite. He's going to have some really cool stuff, a lot of remarks, some slabs. So join us this Friday night. I believe it's going to be at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time or 5:30, somewhere in there. Be a couple hours. You know, it really does help me out because they give me a percentage of the profits that they get from the auction, and they give you really good deals. That's one thing I talked to Nick about when we first started doing these last year, about a year and a half ago. I said, I don't want any price gouging. I want stuff starting at $1 or stuff like that. So they said, yeah, that's not a problem. So there's been a lot of really good books, all really good reasonable prices. So join us this Friday for an auction. We're actually going to do one this Friday and then next Friday as well.
Oh, nice.
So I told myself I'm in town for a couple weeks. After that, I'm on the road again. You know, it's different when I'm on the road as far as internet. And I actually get to, I got some news about that. We'll talk about that in Random Thoughts. But that's kind of an announcement I wanted to say real fast. That's what's going on this Friday. And looking forward to doing that. I like Nick. Nick's a good dude.
Yeah, he is. And
the whole team there at Dynamite, they're a lot of fun. So, but I've already seen some of the books, and I think you guys are going to be pretty happy. Some 9/8 slabs and
nice.
Like I said, some remarks and
Christmas time is coming.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way they look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a week before Black Friday, and you're going to have an auction. This is a good time to buy some comics.
Yeah, and then I'm probably going to do some, after those are done, I have to do some auctions myself to get rid of some of my books before I hit the road again. And I got a bunch of long boxes, or short boxes to sell off. And I'll probably do most of those on the channel, because I got to get rid of them fast. And, you know, I do the Whatnot auctions, I'll probably do one of those, but I usually just sell one book at a time. It'll take me forever. I like putting the bundle together.
Yeah.
Like the 10 books at a time and selling them for the shipping cost of $7. And
I think people like that too.
Yeah, so I like to get rid of stuff like that. Anyway, that's the kind of announcements. It's really quick and easy, that one right there. So I'll see you this Friday night with Dynamite. So please join us. It should be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and get to our first 5.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Bird City Comics. And I will go first, and I'll just show them. Like I'll just like showing you a bass.
Yeah, there you go. This is bass fishing
There you go.
style.
So my first one is Amazing Spider-Man 686. Look at that cool book right there. We don't have a stand or nothing, so we have House of Slaughter #1, the shiny one.
The foil cover.
The foil cover. And then I have a White Widow #1, another shiny cover.
That's actually a really good series.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. But you know what? There you go. It's shiny. That's all I care about. I'm not going to open it. Silver Surfer #63. Have a cool cover. And last one for me. Look at that.
Yes, look at that.
Daredevil #203. I just grabbed a Daredevil book so Bob would kind of get a little tingle down. What's that? Tingle down under?
Tingle down under.
Or whatever that. Yeah.
Just don't call it Peter Tingles.
There you go. There's my first 5. Not bad, right?
Not bad at all.
All right, let me hand you your books here, and you can show your first 5.
Absolutely.
The same deal there.
All right, so the first one I have here is the Swamp Thing. This is the one by Rom V. This is issue #8.
Nice.
Pretty cool. And then the next I got Detective Comics #1025. I love that cover.
That's a good cover.
Pretty cool. And then I got the Kanto #1. I think this is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. But you know, I got to show off some Kanto. And this is one I got from Nick from Dynamite. And this is the Daredevil, and I forget the artist name off the top of my head, but amazing sketch cover.
Might say it on the back.
I can't read that signature.
Okay, yeah, there's
Ken Heiser. Ken Heiser. There we go.
He does a lot of stuff for them.
Yeah. Amazing,
really good.
Amazing. Lady Bullseye. Not Lady Bullseye. Elektra's Daredevil.
You are a fan, right?
Yes, I am a fan.
Yeah.
And then the last one, we got Batman number 88.
Nice.
I think that's a Matina cover. Funky Cold Matina. And there's my first 5.
Alright, right on. Yeah, I'll hold those.
Okay, thanks.
Put them over there for us. That's our first 5, brought to you by Bird City Comics. Go to birdcitycomics.com and the code Bueller. You save 10. Really?
Lady Bullseye.
Lady Bullseye. You save 10%. And isn't your Lady Bullseye?
Yes, darn right she is.
There you go. What the hell's going on here?
I got her on my mind. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Is the whole negative stuff in the house?
You crawled into my space, bro. Come on.
Jesus.
Anyway.
But yeah, go to Bird City Comics. They got some really cool exclusives for that 8 billion genies. They look like Nintendo cartridges, like Super Mario Brothers 2, and they've been really popular right now. So I believe my code works on that. So if you're looking to get that, go ahead and give it a shot. So
nice.
It's 8 billion genies number 8 or number 7. I can't remember. All right, let me take a sip of this. Wonderful.
It really is good.
Ooh. Oh, it's so good. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Here, take a sip and say it. Do it.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
All right, I think we did that pretty well.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to our topics. Like I said, our topics are kind of random. They kind of run the gambit about the comic book field. But these are all from a bunch of people that gave this to us a couple weeks ago. And there was a lot of ones we didn't get to, but I liked them enough. We'll probably talk about them later on a different episode. So, and our topic is brought to you by Blackbox Comics. Go to their website and go Bueller10, save 10%. They got the Ninja Caden book. Number 5 should be out at the end of the month, and then also Dream Master. Number 1 comes out, and that's actually part of my Was It Good segment.
Nice.
Because I got an advanced copy, I'll be telling you about that here in a little bit. Alright, so I got the first one here. This is from Mark Lequegan. I'm sorry, Mark, I probably pronounced that wrong, but it's okay. It says, how about the topic, how do you feel about gender bending, swap change of characters in comic books? How come comic industry don't do it to supervillains? More often, it's a Batman swing the other way. He's right. They don't really mess with the supervillains.
So far, they haven't.
I can't think of any. You know, this topic has come up a lot lately and stuff like that. And you know, it's a sensitive topic and stuff. People can get really offended very quickly on this, but it's something that I feel as though it should be addressed. I think a lot of stuff over the last few months, Marvel and DC have kind of went a different direction and kind of tested this out, and I don't think it turned out very well for them. I think the response they got from it was not great, and it reflected in the sales of comic books. So as far as like what Mark's referring to, I get the impression they're probably going to hold back on that going forward, because it does come down to the bottom line if they're making money and stuff like that. And the investors in the company or whatever, in the board, if they're losing money, they're like, hey, go back to what we were doing that made us money. And so I think as much as maybe they were trying this, you know, and doing this different style, I don't think it paid off for them. At least that's kind of what I've heard. Like a lot of sales went down, you know, and just it didn't do what they wanted to do. Now, personally, when I look at this topic right here, and I think of I actually had this conversation with my stepmother. She's not into comics, but she, you know, she's a very smart lady, okay, and she's very liberal and stuff like that, and she's open to different ideologies and everything, which is great. But her comment to me was, why would they mess with the character who's already been around for 50 years? And I go, that's kind of the problem. It's like, why would they mess with a character that already has a history? Why would they want to rewrite history when we're so used to this character? And I think that's a great point. I think that you're muddying the waters when you try to rewrite history. But I will also say, like, if I'm looking at Batman, I have never cared about who Batman was in a relationship with. That was never a thing for me for Superman or Batman or Peter. Okay, Mary Jane, sure, whatever it is, But I was never like that was the focus of the story. To me, it was like, is he going to win?
Right.
Is he going to defeat the villain? Okay? And whether he's in a straight relationship or a gay relationship, that doesn't matter. To me, I read comics to see good versus evil,
Right.
and to see our hero be triumphant at the end. All the other stuff that they put in there and stuff, I never even thought about it growing up. It wasn't even a blip on the radar. I didn't care, they did a lot of things about Superman and like Superman's son being gay. And they pointed that out, and that's fine, but that was never an issue for me. I was never like, is he gay or not gay? I don't even look at it that way. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I don't know, just sometimes it's like, I was like, it doesn't matter. It wasn't, when I read that story, it didn't make any difference to me whether he was or wasn't. I read the story because I wanted to see good trump evil,
Right.
or vice versa, whatever it is, The other part to it, I don't really put too much weight in that stuff.
There are a lot of people who do, though.
Yeah.
So you brought up a couple of different things, and on the first point, I don't really agree with what you said, because there are things going on right now with Marvel and DC where, yes, they're losing money, but they're continuing with what they're doing despite that. And we've got a lot of evidence that, to show that. We have a lot of the MCU stuff that, even though there's stuff in the last couple of years since Endgame has not been doing as well. Eternals is a great example of that. That was terrible, and they're going to continue with it.
Yeah.
And the same thing when it comes to what they've done inside of the comics. The problem with it is that most people look. We're not dumb, and when you're pushing an agenda, you can see that agenda is being pushed. And if you don't do it the right way, then you end up offending both sides of the equation. You end up offending the people who have legacy with these characters.
Yeah.
But then also, it's a slap in the face to people who are of that type of situation, whether you're gay or transgender or all these different things. If you're not writing the stuff correctly, you're offending those people too. Right? And so they've kind of put themselves into a corner. Write a good story.
Yeah.
And the only change that I see that has been made at Marvel, and DC is a little bit different.
Sure.
The only change that I see that they've done at Marvel is they've started to give these titles not to people who are would be considered straight, but now they're trying to give those titles to people who are gay and transgender. Let them write the stories. That seems to be the direction that they're going now. The problem with it is that most of these people that they're giving these comics to, and this is another subject that's on the list, is the track record with these writers has not been good.
Yeah.
And so, are they going to write good stories? And I think that's what people really want.
Yeah.
And so that's the first issue. And when it comes to revenue, we have evidence, like I said, showing that all the way across the board that even though they're losing money, they're still going to go with this. Even in the toys, the licensing. There are a lot of store owners that are upset right now because they've interjected all of these different characters that like a lot of people are just not buying.
Yeah.
But you have to buy a whole box in order to get just a number of these other characters that people do want to buy, and then you're left with all these other ones that people aren't buying because they want to push an equality inside of the action figures. And so all the way across the board, dollies, whatever they're called, but all the way across the board, they're losing money, and they don't seem to care about that. They're going to continue with the agenda that they're trying to go with. The second thing, that you talked about had to do with, again, you don't really care what you see inside of the books. It wasn't really an issue.
I never even thought about it.
Never even thought about it, but there are people who do.
Yeah.
And when you have legacy characters that have been around for a long time, and you start changing those characters, doing race swapping or gender swapping, it's gonna offend some people, and that doesn't seem to bother the these companies that are doing that. But I have to look at it in a couple of different lights. Number one, there are little kids who are seeing this stuff for the first time, right? And I grew up with Superman, I grew up with Batman, I grew up with Spider-Man, but there are people out there with different colored skin that would love to see themselves as Superman, love to see themselves as Batman. And so even though there are a lot of people who are offended about those characters, eventually those characters do have to be passed on to a new generation. And this new generation that is seeing those characters, what about that kid that is really seeing some of these characters for the first time and they see themselves in them? And I know that there's an argument that says, well, create new characters. And I've had that argument myself in the past as well. But, you can do that. But the problem with it is that a lot of these new characters that are being created, people aren't buying. And so they scrap them. And so what do? They go back to the original plan, which is to take these characters and change them in certain ways, or create new characters like a new Hulk or a new Spider-Man or a new Iron Man with different genders and different races. And when you do that, I don't think there's any way around not being able to offend somebody. And so that argument is going to be on the table either way.
You say that something that interesting, like you see yourself. I never looked at it that way. I never looked at Superman. Oh, I see myself. For one, he's an alien. He's wearing spandex. He's flying around. What can I see in him? That's similar in reality to me. I don't see myself in that character. I just see a character.
Right.
Okay, and the character doing what he's Superman. He's fighting evil. He's doing good. That's what I see. I've never looked at a character and said, oh, I see myself in that person.
But when you're a kid,
as a kid, I'm talking as a kid. I didn't see myself as that guy.
I did. I went in the yard. I put a towel around my neck, and I ran around as Batman inside of the yard.
No, that was Captain Carrot.
Captain Carrot. There you go. But I used to role play these characters, and would it have been different if it would have been somebody of a different race? I don't know. I used to love Luke Cage when I was a kid. And I never looked at it as an issue, but for some people it is, and it's harder for somebody to see themselves in something if it's not like you. And so it's okay to share, right? Let that little kid see himself as one of those characters in these different ways. I'm not as offended by it, but what I am offended by is when you're trying to push an agenda and you're not doing it right, and it's offensive, and you're going to push it anyway. That's what I don't like, and that's what they've been doing, and it makes me feel like they look at us like we're stupid. Right? There it is. What?
Okay then. Bob, guess what? You got the next one.
All right. So the next one comes from Leo Peralta. He said, so here's my topic or question. Do you feel there are too many Batman books for DC and too many Spider-Man books for Marvel?
Absolutely for Batman.
Yeah.
There's so many, let me rephrase that. In the Batman universe. The whole Batman universe.
The
like
Batman family.
Batwoman, Batgirl, Robin.
Three Robins.
Robin and Batman, Robin and Robin. It's nuts. It's like the whole Gotham universe is more than half the lineup of DC. I mean, it's like 75% of the lineup. And it really makes it's a hard thing for the comic shops to, like, man, there's all these Batman titles. I know people like Batman, but hey, these books are $10 a piece. Should I buy these? Should I buy this one? And I've talked to a few different shops, and they're like, man, I wish there wasn't as many Batman-related titles. Just, maybe half what's out there now. And so it just makes it easier for them to buy because they get stuck with a bunch of these books that people don't want. But yet people still like Batman because Batman is a book where people will come out on the street, hey, you need Batman books? And it's one of the characters like that, As far as Spider-Man goes, I don't think there's too many Spider-Mans out there. It's their best character. It's their number one character has been this. You associate Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, boom. And I think there's maybe 4 or 5 different titles, maybe 4. And
at the most.
Yeah, but in comparing the two, there's like 15 different Batman theme titles right now, so there's a big difference. So
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it.
So when it comes to Batman, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the waters are muddied when it comes to the Batman characters. If there's good books that are being written, if there's good books that are being published, I don't mind. But they can't be all good. I wish they were. When it comes to Spider-Man,
There's a little dog sitting right there.
my pug is coming over saying, "Hey, Bueller!"
Because I want to be in there. It looks good in there.
But when it comes to Spider-Man books, like you said, there's only maybe 3 or 4. I would say a better comparison is X books.
Yeah,
There are a ton of X books, and really X-Men have been terrible, especially ever since the House of X.
That's House of 10.
Power 10, whatever it is. Hoxbox. But I would say that's the thing that needs to be revamped. Go back to just having one team until it gains popularity again, and then you can start building upon it. But every time they try to redo the X-Men, it's just an inundation of books.
Yeah.
And if they're not good, I'm not buying them.
Yeah.
I just won't. So yes, I do think that there are too many of these titles, and it is a burden on the LCSs. And it's also a burden on those guys who they know try to collect everything.
Yeah.
Which is what they're trying to grab a hold of on this, which is terrible.
We have our buddy John collects everything Batman.
Right.
I feel bad for him because I see his stack. It's just, the whole thing is all Batman.
Right.
It gets a little crazy out there. So
it does.
Yeah.
It does. So
right.
The answer is yes. There's too many.
All right, you get the next one as well.
All right, next one comes from Ganjabar's Medium. How's it going, buddy? He says I could use the. He says I could use the comic community's help with this question. How do you meet other people who like comics in your town when you don't have an LCS? Coffee and comics is the best.
Well, he's right about that.
Absolutely.
You know what? I thought about this when I saw it, and here's the thing: do what you're doing. Leave a comment on the videos. You will leave a comment on videos like, "Hey, I'm in a certain area," and all of a sudden somebody else leaves a comment. I'm in the same area, or be active like in a chat, like a live stream or something like that. And you'll find people who are in your area and stuff. And that's, literally how the Portland comic crew came together. That we just kind of found each other through YouTube.
Yeah.
Just like leaving comments or watching a video or something like that, and that's like, oh, I'm just right down the street. Because there are people right around the corner. They just don't know it.
Yeah, exactly. When I started watching, Comic Tom, from Comic Tom I started watching Bueller, and then he started talking about Mocha Express, and I'm like, there's a Mocha Express up the street. And I just realized he's just, you were right around the corner.
Yeah.
And that's how we met. And, when you talk about getting into chats and stuff like that, go to Robbie's channel on Sunday nights, Pop Culture Philosophers, and hop in the live chat there. There's tons of people there. Or Monday morning whenever we do the coffee show, there's tons of people there. And just make yourself known. Say hi. You can find a lot of people just by greeting people as they come in.
Yeah.
And then conversations start, and that's a good way.
And you already have something in common because you're watching the same show.
Absolutely. I would say that it's kind of difficult when you don't have an LCS in town.
Yeah.
I would look for, maybe comic swaps or, maybe local cons. And but other than that, I would say that being online is probably your best load.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how we've all found each other, and it's worked the other way. It's like people watch the videos, and not just local, like other groups of people. Like, oh, they watch the video, they're in LA, and all of a sudden someone else lives in LA. Like a perfect example is like the Florida group.
Oh yeah.
And like Steve Whiting, who doesn't do videos. That's a perfect example. He just was in the chats. He made friends with other people that were in the chats. Turns out they were local, and because they were all watching, I'll take a little bit of credit for this. They were all watching me, and then and then all of a sudden you got this big group of guys, and it just expanded. It's like got 20 people in it now.
Yeah. And
at one time or another, they all kind of watched this channel, and they kind of bonded, and became friends, and stuff. So it's I like stuff like that. I look at stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool because I had a little something to do with that, bringing these people together, and then they become lifelong friends. And because it's like I said, you have something in common. I said the show, but seriously, you have something in common. It's comic books.
Yeah.
and it's easy to talk to your buddies about comic books. You guys have the same interests, so.
Yeah, you know, when I was a kid, you know, if you have common ground with somebody, then you always have something to talk about, you know, whether you have differences or not. Like, you know, growing up, there were times when my dad and I didn't agree, but we could always talk sports.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've loved about comics is that I love this tribe that we have, because I can sit down with my buddy Bueller and we can talk about nothing but comics for 3-4 hours straight, and can't wait for the next time that we do.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about this community, is when you find a group of friends like that, you know, you bond really quick.
There you go. All right, you got the next one as well. That's a long one. You picked it.
I did, but I gave you another long one.
I figured.
So this one comes from Michael M. He said, I would like to know what explains the poor quality of the writing in many of the Marvel and DC titles. Even flagship books are often unreadable. Do you guys know how the decisions work in these companies as to who is made the writer of which book? I was a diehard X-Men fan in the 80s and early 90s. I don't have a single X-Men book on my pull list anymore. They are unreadable. The big titles are hit or miss. The stories are just too busy, erratic, or simply not compelling. What is the solution? How do you become a Marvel writer? Maybe I will throw in my hat. At this point, I would like to do it free just to fix their stories. Thanks, guys. Excelsior.
So Michael is an author. He's put out, I actually have his book, you know, he sent it to me and stuff. Really good guy. So he does know what he's talking about and stuff. Honestly, I think, I read this question, I think there's a lot of burnout. I think there's a lot of burnout in creators right now as far as working for the big two. That's why you see a big difference between independent titles, because they have a little bit more freedom and they can tell an original story. Let's be honest, man. I mean, Spider-Man and Superman have been around for 60, 70 years. And that's a lot of stories, you know, and it's a lot of rehashing of stories. It's really hard to come up with something original with a character like that, you know, and stuff, you know, and I think a lot of writers and stuff out there just, they're like yeah, they want to get the Marvel, want to get there, and I want to be a Marvel writer or a DC writer, write Batman or whatever, but then when they get there, like, oh, you know, yeah, that story's been told already and stuff. And then they always end up going back to their original books and doing the original characters, because they have a little bit more freedom.
Yeah.
And they can mess around with the story. They don't have to deal with 60, 70 years of lore, you know, attached to the character. They can start from ground zero and build whatever they want to build. And so I think that's why you see many, the better books are the independent books. They are the independent, you know, just characters that they come up with and stuff like that. And it's the same writers. It's the same writers, and they're just doing multiple projects.
Right.
And stuff. So I think there's a lot of burnout right now. I think there's, especially over the pandemic and stuff like that, I think that burned people out a little bit as far as creators and stuff like that. And you know, I'm just happy that we do have the independent books out there to make up for some of the lackluster stuff that we're seeing in the big two right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to say that they're all bad, because I do enjoy a few titles.
Yeah.
From both, and but I do understand what he's saying, and the X-Men are a perfect point. You already brought that up.
Yeah, X-Men is one of those books that I just really wish, like I said earlier, they would go back to just having one team, write good stories, and let the popularity grow again. By inundating with, you know, 20,000 different books, which
you can't keep track of it.
And even if you had one that was good, it's still too much. And so yeah. But when it comes to independence, you know, writers, they get to write their own story. They can get excited about it. It's theirs. They have part ownership in it. And it's a lot easier for somebody to get excited about what they're writing. And, you know, that's where your quality work comes from. Inside of the big two, a lot of it, you know, you can't change a lot. And it's not really your stuff. And so, you know, you may have somebody like Tynion who comes in and starts creating new characters, which creates a lot of buzz. And you know, he's a great writer. And when you start seeing traction happen on a book like that with a writer that people are starting to gravitate towards, then you start giving that writer more work.
Yeah.
Tom Taylor was a great example of that. He was, you know, on smaller books. They started giving him more and more. Great stories were coming out, and they started giving him more. The problem with it is that in the big, I'm going to say Marvel more, I say they're more suspect in this particular area, is they don't have a lot of quality writers, and so they give work to writers that are, they need money, of course, but the work that they're putting out is not very good, and instead of pulling back on giving them, work because it's not selling, they're just giving them bigger titles. And, there's been a track record the last couple of years of a number of writers who have not put out anything that has generated revenue being given titles, new titles, like they're going to do something different than what they've been doing, and it's not working out. It's lackluster, and you can tell just by the conversation, just by the comment that we have here, is that, people don't want to read this stuff. And, I think that the big two, because of the way they have put themselves in a corner with their high overheads, they just are in a situation where they got to keep putting out stuff in order to bring revenue in, and it's getting smaller and smaller, and I don't think they really know what to do. I really don't. And you need to get people in there who are passionate about the characters, and it's already a constraint when you have legacy characters and you have to put the reins on. You can do this and you can't do this, and you can do that and you can't do that. And that situation's already there, but then this other agenda that they're trying to push as well makes it very difficult for a writer to write something fresh and that they're on a different take.
Yeah.
And I think there's a number of things going on there.
I think, unfortunately, when Cates left Venom and then Immortal Hulk ended, I think that really hurt them. I think that the Venom, I can't remember even been talking about Venom, ever since the other guy took over. And kind of the same thing for Hulk, It's just, the passion's different, I guess. I don't know, it's just, it's not living up to what the standard was maybe a year or so ago.
Sure, and Cates is a great writer, but they gave him Hulk, and I personally don't like that take on it.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, but I think he's kind of a little burned out as well. I think that a lot of stuff on his plate, he's just a writer in general, but I'm just saying, with all the stuff that he has to do, I think he's probably a little burned out also, and take a little breather or something like that, because on the other titles, I don't even know if Crossover is still an ongoing series.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought it was still going, but it's been 6 months since the last one, so I don't know what's going on, and stuff, and then he has written a new issue of Hulk or something. He had it was a guest writer for the last few issues and stuff. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of, just like I said, burnout across the board. Yeah. And I think a lot of these guys, they have a lot on their plate, and after you get so much going at one time, it just kind of muddies the waters a little bit. Yeah. And it's not easy to do. I'd rather have these guys, instead of working on 5 or 6 titles, and they're mediocre, just do 2 titles that are awesome. They're just, people are knocking on the door to get to it and stuff like that. So, and they're very capable of doing that.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, bottom line, in the end, I blame the editors. It's the editor's job to make sure that quality work is being put out, and a lot of the stuff is being passed, and they know. Yeah. They know. You can't tell me that you're publishing that and saying this is going to be a great story. Yeah. Because it's just not.
I don't hear anyone talk about somebody's killing their children anymore.
It's true.
And that was all we talked about for like a year and a half. Yeah. How good it was. I can't remember. The book's still coming out. The new issue comes out in about 2 weeks. I don't hear anyone talking about what's going on. I couldn't tell you what's going on. People were just kind of.
Yeah, there are some titles when that you had a great story going on, and now because it's popular, you're trying to expand it. Some books you just shouldn't do that with. Yeah. Maybe this is one of them.
Yep. All right, I got the next one here. So Rook's Mate 1911 says, I think it would be cool if you guys talked about how to start collecting and different resources to use for people who want to start but don't know how to. Maybe tell us how you guys started and the resources you use that keep up with things. If I was going to talk to a person right now, hey, Bueller, I want to start collecting comics, what should I do? The first thing I would do is tell them to go buy a price guide. Go buy an Overstreet price guide. Not because of the prices, but because of the information that's in there. It tells you how to collect comics, what to look for, how to grade a book, you know, all this stuff, all the terms that you use, buy an Overstreet price guide.
Yeah.
That's the Holy Bible. The prices are what they are in there, you know, they fluctuate up and down and stuff like that. But it's a good baseline. That's why I tell people it's a baseline price. You see movement all the time because it only comes out once a year.
Sure.
But it's great for like common books and just stuff that doesn't, you know, move all the time. So it's got a good baseline for prices, but it teaches you all the other, you know, half the book is all information on comics. Mm-hmm. That's the first resource you should get. And once you get that book, read it, and then from there, depending on what you want to do you want to collect to make money, or do you just want to collect to enjoy the hobby and read the books? It's much more easier to collect and just enjoy the hobby because you don't have the pressure of, oh man, it's going to be worth something down the line. I don't look at my collection like that. I just buy it because I want to read it. And if it's worth money down the line, great. If it's not, I don't care. I didn't buy it for that reason. It's a lot more liberating if you collect like that. But if you're collecting to make money, and I've actually thought about making a video about this, not to be a full-time seller, but just to be able to sell comics on the side hustle, and an easy way to actually make money doing that. And I think I can actually put together a decent video that would be easy for people to who haven't done it yet, who just want to start collecting comics and make a little bit of money on the side. I'm not talking about thousands of dollars. I'm talking about, you know, a couple $100 a month.
Yeah.
You know, and just have a little extra pocket change and stuff like that.
For sure.
But the first thing, like I said, first thing, get a Overstreet price guide.
Yeah.
And read the first half of it, and you'll be surprised what you learn in that book.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely, that's a great tip. I would say, you know, find something you like.
Yeah.
You know, and start there. I mean, if you've never gotten into comics before, read them first.
Yeah.
Maybe pick up a couple of trade paperbacks of things that you've seen in the movies or TV or something that somebody recommended to you. Pick up a trade paperback and read it. Find out what you like. And then, or maybe just walk into an LCS, look at the titles on the board. Maybe look for a couple of number ones, something like a hopping or jumping in point. And read a few of them. Find out what you like. Same thing like with Marvel books. I know we've been talking about there's not a lot of great quality, but Marvel does something that DC doesn't, the independents don't, is they always give a synopsis in the very beginning of the book so that you can just hop right into the story. So it kind of gives you a background of what's been going on, so that anybody can buy any book at any time and just jump right in. So that's an option as well. But I would suggest that before you start getting into collecting comics for money, make sure that you understand what you like about comics in the first place. Find, you know, good stories or good characters, you know, that you can get behind, that you really like, and start maybe a pull box. A pull box usually in an LCS is usually three comics a month is what they'll start you off at. That's the minimum that you have to get a pull box. And maybe you get 3 titles that you go with for a little bit, month over month, and see how you like it, and dip your toe in the water that way. And if it's not the you know, the weekly warrior, the Wednesday warrior, because new comics normally come out on Wednesdays. If it's not that way, then, you know, maybe you go and find a character that you like and look in the back issue bins and maybe find a few different stories that look good and read those. But I would dip my toe in first and make sure that you're reading comics and understand what you like, and then just start collecting what you like. And that's how I would start.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother with what you like.
Really?
Buy a bunch of trash that you don't like.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
But it's very easy to do that.
Yeah.
You know, when you start listening to a lot of people talk about spec, and you're like, oh, I got to get this book and this book and that book, and then you all end up with a bunch of books in your collection that you don't even want. It's very easy to do that.
All right. I'll do the next one here. Looks like from Max G's. Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
Topic suggestion, pricing and value discussion. That's what this is about. Inflation is here. If all the book prices go up by $1, would you buy less or buy none at all out of spite? Or for $2? If Marvel gave you the option for better cover paper for $1 more, would you use it? $2 for cover and higher quality inside the pages. Well, I can tell you right now, like DC already gives you that option to buy the regular cover. It's the one price. The other cover is $1 more, and I refuse to buy that, and I won't pay an extra $1 just for one page and stuff like that. So if Marvel did it, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah.
But inflation, if the books were to go up $1, they would have to add something to it for me to feel comfortable still spending my money on the books. Make it a little bit better. If it's gonna flat just be another $1 across the board, okay, I want to get a little bit more than what I'm getting now. I want to feel as though you're gonna earn that $1, okay, because now I don't have a choice between the regular and a different cover. So if they're gonna go up $1, make it a little bit better quality, and that would be a little easier pill for me to swallow. But if it just goes up $1 and they'll just use Marvel and they don't change anything, and it's still the crappy paper that they've been using for the last couple of years, then yeah, I wouldn't buy any. I'd be like, I already don't buy hardly any because of the paper, and if they raise it by $1, this just reinforces my stand on it, you know. But if they give me a little bit more, if they add a few more pages to make the cover a little bit better, it'll be an easier pill for me to swallow.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, there's a difference between having an option and not having an option. Right now, with DC, you have an option. You don't have to buy that $1 more book. You can just buy the other one.
Yeah.
And save $1. The cover is different, but it's the same. Once you open the first page, it's the same book. You get the same story inside, so you have that option. That's different from inflation, and they all go up, and you don't have an option. It's a new price point. So, for the most part, I just wait. If it's something I want, I'm not the type of guy I have to get it right now. I just wait a couple weeks, and it's a couple bucks off, you know. And
Yeah.
I buy a lot of books after the fact, you know, and okay, I'll go get them now because they're in the half off bin or the $1 bin
Or grab bags.
or grab bags, exactly. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. But like I said, that's something that DC has already been doing now for like last 2 years.
Yeah.
So
and based upon that, I don't know if it would entice me to buy those books for an even higher price, because DC is already giving us an extra story in the back of the book. 9 times out of 10, I don't care about that story, and I'm being charged for it anyway.
Yeah.
And so what is the extra that would be enough? Is it more pages inside of the book? I don't know. I mean, I just know that the comics are already at a point where it makes it very difficult when you're trying to live on a budget. You can only buy so many books a month.
Spawn.
There you go. That's the perfect example. Todd McFarlane has shown that you can sell books for cheaper, make them great quality, and you don't have to price gouge.
Yeah.
Right. And when it comes to making Marvel a better quality book, I don't buy into that if they're going to charge me more for it, because we've already shown on our show that there's independent companies that are minuscule compared to Marvel who have put out books that are far superior, beautiful covers, beautiful paper on the inside, and they didn't charge us a whole bunch more to do that.
Yeah.
So it can be done. It's that high overhead that they're trying to make us pay for.
Yeah.
And I ain't buying it.
Don't buy it.
I ain't going to.
Spawn.
There you go.
Now, if Spawn went up by $1, I'd have no problem with it.
No, not at all.
For one, it'd only be $3.99.
Right.
Which is the regular price anyway. I'm just saying, the quality is there.
Yeah.
Like The Walking Dead is $3.99 book, and they're reprints. Mm-hmm. But the quality's there, and I buy it every time it comes out. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, this next one is from David Posner. This is a big one here. How you doing, David? It says, I don't really go to conventions, nor do I normally buy exclusive covers, so my collecting habits are simple and drama-free. But since I started collecting again 2 years ago, I have had to cut my pull to 4 titles, and I don't order more than 5 additional books each week from FOC. This keeps my weekly comic purchases under $40 a week. Even this isn't easy to maintain week after week when you have other obligations, but I'm still missing out on so many titles I wouldn't mind checking out. How do you choose week to week what to buy and pass on? I try to find a good balance of what I like reading and what might be good spec, so I guess my topic is content versus spec when you're on a budget. I thought about this one a little bit. Now my thoughts, I'm losing my thoughts on it, but I was actually remember reading this, and I know David. Me and David hung out, I think it was in Atlanta or something like that. Really, really great guy. And he's talking about missing out. You're always going to miss out. Every week there's a new book. You're never going to get every book. You're always going to miss out, and you have to be okay with missing out.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem. A lot of people aren't okay with it, and they feel as though they have to. You need to be okay with it. It's like, you know what? Let it go. Because you know what? Next week is another week. But if you bought the stuff you liked, then you're really not missing out because you got the stuff you like.
Yeah.
Okay? As long as you buy the stuff you like, then you got the collection that you enjoy going home to and looking at. Don't look at the stuff that you feel as though you're missing out. You don't even know if you like it. Just because it's a spec book or whatnot, don't worry about that stuff. Just kind of let that go because there's always going to be another spec book. There's always going to be something you're going to be missing out on because there's new books every Wednesday. It never stops. It never stops. Just buy the stuff that you enjoy, that you know you're going to enjoy. If those books happen to be spec books as well, look at it as icing on the cake.
Sure.
And then go from that. Don't worry about the other stuff. Just concentrate on the stuff you like and enjoy the most. And then down the road, if you get a chance to check out some of these titles that you might have missed, and not necessarily spec book, you can pick them up for a cheaper price.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, again, and you know, Bueller has shown many times that a lot of the books that come out, you can find just a few weeks, a couple months down the road for much cheaper, and you know, you can always bargain hunt that way. But really, you need to know when it's time to walk away from certain things and be okay with it. You know, your finances and your family and your relationships come first. Yeah. And if you have problems walking away from it, then you know you need to question why it is that you need that thing and why you're buying it. You know, for myself, I love comics. I can talk comics for hours. It's in my blood. I haven't bought a new issue of comics for going on what 4.5 months now. You know, it kills me. But ever since we've gotten into the new house, our finances haven't leveled out yet, and until that happens, I'm not putting much into like entertainment type things. Yeah. I got to cut the strings and make sure that we're in a good place first, and then I can go back to starting a budget for comics and down there, and I plan on doing that. But until then, I've got to cut the strings, and what's helped me is not watching so many influencers on YouTube to make me have that, you know, to get the FOMO going. Oh man, I'm missing out on that book. Yeah. You know, no, I'm just gonna like shut myself off to it for a little bit so I don't get that, so no urges, you know, come to it's like, oh, I gotta get that book.
And nobody has everything.
No.
Not one collector out there has everything. Exactly. We've all missed stuff. We've all like, oh man, I should have got that. You know, we've all had that same thing. So it's okay to let stuff slide. Yeah. And don't feel as though you missed out. Just enjoy the stuff you have instead. Yeah, and look, I mean, there are ways to get new content without having, if you have no budget whatsoever, you can use Hoopla, right? Which is basically a library. If you have a library card, you can get into Hoopla, and there are tons of stuff that you can download and read right now if you really need to, you know, get your comic fix on. But and that's if you don't have a budget. But if you do, just get what you know you like and let everything else go. It'll be there for you when you come back, believe me. Nice. Alright, you got the last one. Alright. So the last one comes from Comics Fan 1973. He says, talk about books for children. What should they read, old and new stuff? Industry needs new readers. It's a great point. I don't know. There's a reason I put that on there. Mm-hmm. And or what? I think it was in New York. And this gentleman came up to me. He watches the show. Mm-hmm. He's a teacher at high school, I believe. And he has a comic book club with the students. Nice. And I thought that was really awesome. You know, it's a whole younger generation of comics. And so he was telling me about this club. Mm-hmm. And all the students that were there. So I said, well, here's my exclusive. And I gave him a stack of them. I said, please give these out to all the people in the club. Mm-hmm. And I'll put a picture on the screen here, but these are all the students all holding up my exclusive. That's and stuff awesome. Like that. I don't know whether they read it, but I told this guy, I said, whatever you need, you just call me, and I'll get it to you. For all your students. I'll make care packages, whatever you want, you know. Mm-hmm. Because I see this younger generation, I want to do as much as I can to promote that. And like I said, you can see this picture right here. They all go, oh, thanks Bueller and stuff like that. There's like a dozen of them. It's really cool. So I mean, there are out there. You just have to find, you know, the people who are doing this type of thing.
Yeah.
As far as what you get kids to read, I don't know. Whatever they want. You know, I mean, most of them want to read the anime stuff. Mm-hmm. Let them read that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's comic books, let you know, just introduce them. I know for younger kids, the only publisher that I know of off the top of my head that does really like young content would be Oni Press. They got a lot of stuff that you can look into, and then I know that like Marvel has a young readers couple titles that they put out. I think DC does as well. I'm not positive about that. You just need to find those places that have those sections and sell those books. We have a couple of LCSs local that that do sell those type of books. But also, I mean, one of the things that you did at Washington State SummerCon I thought was great too. He had a bunch of comics that he needed to sell. You put the boxes out there, and when people came up and they're looking through the boxes, if they had kids, he said, "Go ahead, and let the kids pick anything they want for free." Yeah. And the kids, they were like, "Really?" And they would pull books out that they wanted. And any way that you can promote kids getting comics and reading them, go ahead and do. I know there are some people that put out long boxes on Halloween for kids when they came up that said, "Take as many as you want." And that's a good way to get rid of some of your comics that you don't need anymore. Yeah. But it's also a great way to get kids into comics and read comics, or maybe pick up a comic for the first time. I think those are great ways in order to do it. But as far as specific content, I'm still trying to get my granddaughter. I've introduced her to a couple of things. She loves Kanto, which is great. And then there's the young version of Spider-Man. She's picked that up a couple times. She likes that. And then there's Jonah from Oni Press. Jonah and I can't remember the full title. Sure. But she likes that as well. And then she has a bunch of manga that she loves. Yeah. And so
Scout Comics has a line, Scoot.
Scoot, that's right.
And all kids stuff. And actually, I mentioned this box on the video, but Comic Tom does his mystery box. There's a kids book in every one of his mystery boxes, and an exclusive kids book. So if you're looking for something like that for a monthly little package for a kid or whatnot, you get the regular comics, plus there's a kids book in every one of those boxes.
Oh, that's
from
great.
The Scoot lineup and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's exclusive as well. So, I mean, there's stuff out there. We just gotta admit, it's not how it used to be. You're not sitting in line when you're a kid right now. You're not sitting in line at a grocery store with mom and there's a rack of comics sitting there.
Right.
That went away in the 80s. So you need to do the work yourself. Like take the kids to the comic shop.
Yeah.
Let them look around. Tell them to pick out a couple books, because the randomness of just being at a store or a convenience store and it's like mom has an extra 50 cents in her pocket and here you buy a book.
Right.
That's not there anymore.
No.
So we kind of have to step up to the plate and provide those books for them. So that's the best way to do it.
I think that's a great idea.
So anyway, that's all our topics. There are different categories that we were going to cover.
I kind of like this.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
We've done it before.
I know. But usually we do. It's like about us,
I don't know. It's not always about you, Bob.
No, it's always about you. It always is.
Really?
Just kidding.
You want me to sit on your lap again?
No, I'm still trying to nurse my leg back.
Anyway, so that's our topic, brought to you by Blackbox Comics. Like I said, go to their website. Bueller 10, save 10% on all the titles. All sorts of good stuff.
Good stuff.
Are you ready to move on?
Ready to move on.
Okay, what do we do next? We got our final five brought to you by Bird City Comics. Bob, I'll let you go first.
All right.
I'm assuming these are your final five right there?
They are. And you guys know in the past I've shown some of these. I really love them. This is Storm Riders by Wing Shing Ma. These are Chinese comics. Can't read them, but I love to turn the pages and see the visuals. They're incredible. And so we got issue, I don't know. We got 454, which is pretty cool. I love these covers. And the interiors are they're the same. They're painted. This is 455. And then we have 447. And Wing Shing Ma is an incredible artist. I love picking up everything I can by him. 453. And shout out to Jason from Heroes to Icons. He's the one that turned me on to these comics, and you guys know how I love martial arts, and this is some of the best stuff that's out there. And there's my last one. So there's my final 5.
Those are cool, man.
Thank you.
Very cool looking books. Alright. I guess these are my final 5 here. And I'll just show them.
Alright.
Inferno, number 1. Look at that one.
I really love that cover.
That's a pretty cool cover. I don't know who that is. Or German, I don't know. Here is Fantastic 437 featuring the Thing.
Just Go.
Not bad at all. Here's one of my favorite Wolverine covers, number 3.
I love that one.
Not bad. It's, Bird City Comics sent me this, so I like that. Here is my exclusive, and I think I showed this before, but this is the one. This is the Ninja Gaiden number 1. This is the one I had signed by CM Punk.
Ah, nice.
So you can barely see it's in black, but now he's like a big controversy in wrestling right now because he's kind of an asshole. Anyway, he signed that for me, so this is like the only Ninja Gaiden signed by CM Punk. So there you go. And I want to show this cover because I got this at that Frankenstein. Man, I love this cover.
Yeah.
This is
Dazzler
number 28. Just a really neat. It's not worth nothing as far as value.
Oh, great cover.
Just an amazing cover. I bought 2 of them, and I thought it was pretty cool. So
yeah, you don't see many Dazzler covers anymore.
So I like that. So I had to pick that up. I like the purple and stuff. So anyway, there you go. That's my final 5.
Nice final 5.
Brought to you by Bird City Comics, like I said. Go there. And the code Bueller, save 10%, and check out all the really cool stuff they got going on. They're doing some really great exclusives right now. And some really original ideas and stuff like that. They got Anthony who was there and his wife. They do a good job coming up with stuff. So
nice.
Let's go ahead and move on to our Was It Good segment.
Sure.
This is brought to you by the Comics and Coffee, like the coffee that we were drinking right now. It's by them, so there you go. So anyway, Bob, you read 3 books.
I did.
So tell me what was the name of one of the books?
So the first one was Hell to Pay.
Okay, stop right there. Bob, so Hell to Pay. Was it good?
It was. It's written by Charles Soule.
Okay.
I like his writing, and the basic premise of it is there's when it comes to hell itself, there's currency down there.
Okay.
And it all runs on that. So if you have what they use, these coins called carracks, you can basically buy the services of a demon, and or one of the things that people deal in because it's hell. You're buying people's misery and things like that. So it's kind of a cool concept, and it all comes down to like billionaire types, collect things. And there's this one billionaire who basically has one of these coins because somebody made it out of hell.
These Bitcoins?
Kind of like that, right? Somebody made it out of hell, not just with one of these coins.
Nobody really ever knows what it is.
Right. But with 666 of these coins.
Oh.
It has to be that number,
right?
Yeah. And so there's this whole thing about there's a group of people that are out there trying to get these coins because they can buy the services of hell. It's a great concept.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about it is there's a lot of different time jumps, and it was kind of off-putting to me. So you have now, then it goes 3 weeks from now, then a week from now, and then 14 years from now, and it jumps around like that. It was kind of off-putting, but the basic concept of the story I really liked.
Yeah.
I'd definitely go for issue 2.
Was Mario in it?
No.
Does he collect coins?
He does collect coins, yeah, something like that, but that's not the same.
I don't know.
I think silver coin is a much better concept when it comes to like horror type
Sure.
coins. You know.
So you liked it?
I did.
Okay, well there you go. Okay. So what's another book you read?
I read from Marvel Comics. I read Deadpool #1.
Okay, so Bob.
Yeah.
Deadpool #1.
Yeah.
Was it good?
I was okay. It was okay. I mean, look, again, we talked about it earlier, breaking new ground and trying to do something new. It's very hard for a writer to do. I don't remember who it was that's writing this comic, but the basic concept of it is that, remember the last Carnage event that happened?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a character, Harrower, I think her name is. She's basically gotten a piece of the symbiote, and she's going to basically infuse Carnage into Deadpool.
Oh, okay.
So we're leading up to another big event,
Sure.
and so you got to get this whole thing about her you know, he's on a table, she's captured him. Of course, there's a lot of fourth wall breaking, as you see with any Deadpool book. I just didn't see a lot of new ground being laid, you know, when it comes to the Deadpool character. And the big concept of this one is that we're going to have Deadpool carnageized.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's a great
Sure.
concept. I mean, there's a lot they could do with that if it was done right. But so it was just okay.
Okay. Just okay.
Just okay.
All right. What's the third one you read?
I read the new Batman Deadly Duo.
Okay. Bob.
Yeah.
Batman Deadly Duel.
Mm-hmm.
Digital image right here.
Mm-hmm.
Was it good?
It was good. I really enjoyed this.
Now, who wrote this one? Was this Silvestri?
Silvestri did all the art inside of it. And I have
Okay.
to say, his art is amazing in this book. Just every page, there were the way he's using space and creating depth inside of some of the images. I just absolutely loved. I would say probably. I used to love Silvestri on Wolverine, and I will say that what I saw inside of this book, I think even trumps that.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed that. The story, I mean, it's not anything groundbreaking. It's just another Batman story, but it's well written.
Yeah.
And so I was very happy about that. And so by the end of the book, I wanted more.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was definitely good. I would highly recommend it, and especially for the artwork. And
Sure.
it is eye popping. And very well done, and the writing wasn't like subpar or anything like that. It was good. It was really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Made you feel good inside?
It made me feel good inside. Now, you read a book this week, right? Just one.
I did. I read one book.
And it is, what was the
Dream Master.
Dream Master from Blackbox Comics.
Number one, yeah.
Number one. And so Bueller,
Yes, sir.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Was it good?
You know what? Well, let me just tell you this. I have a personal attachment to this book. You know this.
Yeah.
And so I've been waiting to read this book for quite some time. I've known about it for about a year, over a year, and I finally got to read it this week. I don't know why they took their time to let me read it. But I finally got to read it, and yes, it was very good. I'm very happy. I'm a huge fan of the writer. He's a friend of mine and stuff. And of course, I work with Blackbox Comics and stuff. So I might be a little biased, but I don't think I am. I think my review on this is pretty legit. And I'm actually going to do a full review separately on this as well. I loved it. I love the concept is, and I tried to, the world that's set in is in the dream world, okay? And it's almost like, it's like Alice in Wonderland meets Nightmare on Elm Street, is what it is. Okay, so if you imagine the Alice in Wonderland world, and you mix that in with the Nightmare on Elm Street type world.
I love it. I'll wrap for that.
It's interesting looking and creepy looking, and it has that vibe. I've seen a lot of artwork to this thing for other issues as well. I was like, oh my god, that's just looks so cool, and it has that vibe, and you really see it. So you take those two things, and then you throw in a superhero in the middle, who is like the defender of the dream world. So us regular people, you know, fall asleep. We enter this dream world that's like what I described, and you can die just like in Nightmare on Elm Street. How that works. But imagine in Nightmare on Elm Street, say you're fighting for your life, there's someone there to help you. And that's kind of what this is. This is kind of what it is. There's literally, you're in this dream world, there's things coming after you, trying to kill you or whatnot, but instead of being alone, there's someone in there, the Dream Master, who's on your side. And it's a really cool concept, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, the first issue kind of goes over a pretty basic plot line as far as kind of describing what it's going to be, and it's pretty much what I just said. You know, this character goes in there in this dream world. She meets the Dream Master. They're being attacked, and the Dream Master is there to, you know, be the hero to our story.
The guy, yeah.
And I like it, and I know how far they're going to go with it. And I've seen some of the artwork concepts. It's just gorgeous. It's just the color palette is awesome. You know, like I said, the writer is one of my favorites. Jonathan Hendrick, who wrote the Recount and stuff. I have a lot of his work, and but he's been on this story for a long time, and it's great. You know, it's been a long time coming. I've been waiting. It comes out November 30th. Cross your fingers. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed. And we actually have a little trailer we're going to play right here, kind of an intro. So we'll let that play here for a second. So yeah, that's a little like 1 minute trailer, like the first issue and stuff. You know, it shows the covers and everything. But you know, obviously I'm a big fan of Blackbox Comics. They don't do a lot of books, but they do pretty quality books. You know, when they put them out and stuff. You know, and this is no exception. I think this is probably going to be their biggest book to date, and I loved it. So it's thumbs up.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read it myself.
I might be able to give you a copy.
That'd be amazing.
It's got my name in there too.
I know it does.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I got a little credit in that book. Like I said, I might be a little biased.
Maybe a little bit.
But I enjoyed it. You know, it's true. I mean, I'll be honest. You know, they've made some titles that weren't for me. You know,
Right.
Wilder was not. You know, I even said it. I was like, you know, who's this for? You know, who's this book for? It wasn't really, didn't fit. You know what I like. I like the newer one, the Ninja Gaiden.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. I don't. You haven't read it yet, but Shinukagi was your pick, and you like that one, and you like that. You know, you got ninja stuff on your wall, and so you got Chinese stars on his wall, like a 12-year-old.
Be like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Looks awesome, bro.
yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. So guys, go do a pre-order on it. Help support indie titles. You know, this is as indie as it gets. To be honest, I mean, this is run by just you know, a couple, one guy, really, a friend of mine and stuff, and he's doing some good work. And I think you're going to enjoy it. The covers look great. The artwork is amazing, and it's written by one of the best writers in the industry right now. And it's hitting on all cylinders. So there's, I think they're going to do multiple volumes to this. I think the first story arc is 5 issues. I could be wrong on that, but I liked it. Like I said, I'm going to do a full review on it in a separate video.
Nice.
And with some images and all that good stuff. So looking forward to sharing that because it doesn't come out for another 3 weeks. So
Sure.
we got a little bit of time.
Very cool, man.
Anyway, yeah, that's the only thing I read. I liked it. So.
Little light reading week for you.
Yeah, I've been busy, you know, doing nothing on the bus. I sleep a lot.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It's so comfy in there.
I hope it is.
It's like a little kangaroo pouch.
There you
I
go.
mean, sitting there just swimming around.
Cozy on the bus.
Yeah, there you go.
In your pouch.
Yeah.
There you go.
So anyway, that's our Was It Good? Brought to you by Comics on Coffee. Go there, buy some coffee, buy some mugs.
Buy some mugs.
Oh, buy a t-shirt.
That new mug is amazing.
The orange one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I do too.
I really like that orange mug. Wink, wink. Anyway, I need to get some more coffee. Let's go on to our random thoughts. And this is, we don't really have anything planned for this. It's random thoughts. But I did want to tell you guys something kind of cool. One of my problems on the road since I've been traveling is reliable internet. And it's really hampered my ability to make videos or go live or do auctions and stuff like that. Finally, this past week I took a step to eradicate that as far as being a problem.
Really?
So I have purchased Starlink.
Really?
The Elon Musk internet. It was like $600 for the setup. And so going forward, it's actually on its way right now. I will have Starlink, which is unlimited high-speed internet, pretty much anywhere in the world. As long as you have a clear shot to the sky, I can be in the middle of the desert and have, you know, 200 megabytes upload and download. And so, which means I will be able to make more videos. Uploads won't take me a day.
Uploads, yeah.
And that's really why I wasn't making many videos, because it would literally take me a day and a half to upload a video. Because I'd be a place where I barely get any bars, or my internet access was limited. And now, that was a real problem for me. And I really didn't, it was bugging me. And I've been kind of waiting until the Starlink had more satellites up in the air, until it got a little more reliable, and they're adding more and more every day. And like right now they have 3,000 satellites, and they're going for 40,000 over the next few years. And so, you know, with that service, I will have unlimited high-speed internet. And that's the thing, because my other one was only 200 gigabytes, and I went through that really quick.
Wow.
And stuff. So I have unlimited internet, hopefully starting next week. And I can be able to make more videos, do more live streams.
What's the monthly cost on that?
It's costing me $135 a month.
Which is comparable to what Comcast gives you.
It's, yeah, because I mean, I'm paying, I'll tell you right now, I'm paying $220 a month for my cell phone for the internet hotspot and the little device I have. I can now get rid of that device and just kind of go to a basic cell phone plan for like $60. and so I'll actually be saving a little bit of money.
There you go.
Because I don't need to have that hotspot. It's a separate device I pay for.
Nice.
And it was only giving me 100 gigabytes.
Wow.
And so hopefully this way I can save a little bit of money, and plus have. I mean, the initial cost was holding me back. It was $600 just to buy the equipment. Mm-hmm. You had to pay that up front, and so, but you know, I took care of that, and now I'll have the service, and
nice.
hopefully it's great. I'm really looking forward to using it, and hopefully it's is what they say it is, and it just gets better as time goes on. So.
Sounds like it'd be a good setup for you, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, and I'm after Thanksgiving, I'm heading south, so I'll be in the desert.
You gonna go visit Paige?
Visit Paige. We'll visit with some other family as well, and just kind of hang out in the desert.
Nice.
See if I can't make some desert friends.
Desert friends.
Like Mad Max, like Thunderdome.
It's gonna be windy.
I don't care. Who's Wendy?
Never mind.
I hope I meet Wendy.
There you go.
Hello, Wendy.
Hello, Wendy.
Anyway, it's my only random thought. I thought I'd share that. Plus, like I said before, you know, we're doing the auction this coming Friday for Dynamite, so join me for that. Should be a lot of fun. So, what about you, Bob? Any random thoughts?
Not really, you know. I went and saw Black Adam.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, out of all the DC movies that have come out, I would say that this one is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Story doesn't have a lot of substance to it, but the acting was great. The action was great. I loved having Black Adam on the big screen. I thought, what's his name, playing Dr. Fate, he pretty much almost stole the show. Pierce Brosnan. It was great seeing Dr. Fate on the big screen. Yeah. And I just absolutely enjoyed it. I loved Hawkman. Hawkman, I thought the actor that played him, he did an amazing job as well. And so they got stuff that they can definitely expand on there, which I'm happy about.
He was on a show called Leverage.
Oh, really?
And it was a really good show. And
I haven't seen that
for
one.
many seasons. So.
Wow. I haven't seen that one. And then, you know, there's not really been much going on TV. I'm really digging the Andor series on Disney+. You know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan anyway. And what's funny is that, you know, people have complained about, you know, some of the stuff that they've been putting out, you know, these TV series. This is one of the best Star Wars series to have come out. Nobody's watching it. It just blows me away. If you haven't been watching Andor, it expands the Star Wars universe in the way that you would want to. Yeah. And it's dark, it's compelling, and it's really good. I've been enjoying it.
Are you watching Bachelor in Paradise?
No, I don't even know what that is. Say what?
Yeah, you're missing out.
Am I?
They took a whole group of the girls and replaced them with other girls or something. I don't know. I never watched it.
Sounds like cloning.
That's what my parents were talking about and stuff. They love that stuff. What about Dancing with the Stars? You watch that? It's on Disney Plus now.
No.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, what's your name?
The only reality show like that I watch is every year in the summertime. I like America's Got Talent, but that's the only one of those I'll watch.
Yeah, I don't watch that.
Yeah.
America's Got Talent.
Yeah, I like that show.
You do?
I do.
Do you have a favorite?
Do I have a
favorite talented American?
Oh no, I like the Magic Acts.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some of the comedians that have been good.
Yeah.
Now I like seeing the outrageous stuff that's never been done before.
Oh,
right.
Yeah?
And so yeah.
You like that Quick Change? You like that?
Those are cool.
You like that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Something special for you?
Yeah, was it good?
Was it good for you? Quick Change. Look, I got a new outfit on.
There you go.
Just leave the old one on. I don't want to watch that stuff.
I don't know if it's talent, but it sure is fun to watch.
There you go. Well, I finished watching that one with Steve Carell.
That was great, but I wasn't expecting it to end that way.
Did not end well.
No, that's for sure.
Steve Carell.
That's for sure. Yeah, I was like...
It's a little bit of a downer.
Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, and what's funny is that in the beginning it was more like a dark comedy, and then it just got more serious as it went along until it... Yeah.
I did start watching Ozark.
Oh, really? I've heard that's good.
I watched the first 3 seasons, and now I'm a little burnt out. I got another season to go.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sad that House of the Dragon is gone. I really dug that.
The dragons?
The dragons, man.
You love the dragons?
I do.
Yeah, alright. Peach Dragon. You like Peach Dragon?
No, we need Peach Dragon.
Peach Dragon?
What is that?
Pete.
Oh, Pete.
Pete.
You sound like you said peach. Peach Dragon. I was like, what?
Pete.
You like Pete?
Yeah, Pete the Magic Dragon. Sitting by the shore. I don't know.
That's Puff, not Pete.
Oh, Puff. It's Puff the Dragon.
Yeah, I liked Puff when I was a kid. Peach Dragon wasn't bad either.
So there is a Peach Dragon?
There is a Peach Dragon.
See, I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, but it's not Puff.
Pete Puff, doesn't matter. Pete Puff, pass.
Did you puff the Magic Dragon when you
Never, I've never done this.
Never, okay.
I don't even know what that stuff looks like.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you were living it around like 3 different people who were doing it all the time.
Yeah, dude.
They were up at like 11:30 last night. All I could smell was rain and blown out weed.
Contact high.
For sure.
Yeah, no,
They smoke a lot over there, bro.
Yeah, they do. Wait till the summertime.
Oh,
it's great.
It's great.
You're gonna love it.
I was out there barbecuing right at the end of summer, and I got a taste of that.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Hey, a steak never tasted so good.
Anyway, so that's our random thoughts. Just kind of random. No
rhyme or reason.
No rhyme or reason whatsoever. So anyway, this was a fun episode. It was pretty casual. It's like, I like hanging out in the Bob Cave and stuff. It's kind of cool here.
Any chance I get to hang out with you, man, is
it's good stuff.
An absolute blessing. So
I'm still in town through, like I said, Thanksgiving. So if we get a chance to do something like this again, we'll give it a shot. Or we can do something else, maybe do a live show and just hang out. I don't know.
Sounds good to me.
Let's just sit and stare at the camera for a moment.
All right.
All right, you want to take us out? Do it.
Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. Don't forget to live your best life.
That's my line.
We'll see you next time.